Welcome, everybody, to All-Star Insights, All Things Youth Baseball Podcast, sponsored by Kids on First Foundation and Tuckahoe Sports. And today's very special guest, we have Coach Earnest Horton from Black Baseball Media. Coach E, how you doing, man?
Oh, I'm blessed, man. Blessed by the best. Thank you, guys. Chris, Rock, Sherry.
Hey,
thanks so much for having me on.
Hey, no problem. It's an honor, man.
So we're gonna jump right in here, Coach E, and we're gonna start because it's all about youth baseball, and we're gonna start with your youth playing days, and just give us a little quick background about how you got involved in baseball as a player, and take us through your high school and then playing in college, and we'll kind of go from there.
Also, born and raised in Chicago, Illinois, came up playing Southside Little League. I know everyone should have, if not, saw the 2014 Jackie Robinson team win the Little League World Series. We were the rival Little League to them, and full disclosure, when I came up in Little League, we beat them from 99 to 2001. Hold on. Going back. 2001. Later on, went to Hyde Park High School from 2002 to 2005. Was reluctant enough to get a collegiate baseball scholarship to the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. After that, Major League, I started 3 years down there. Major League Baseball told me, "You're really not that good," so came home, started coaching, and all the wonderful things
awesome,
around
man.
that.
And it's funny. I just was looking through some old memorabilia that I had, and when we were we used to live in Madison, Wisconsin, and that team actually came up to like a card show, and they autographed all their photos and stuff when they went to the White House and stuff. So that was pretty cool.
One of the best teams ever, honestly.
Yeah, it's kind of unique when those kids, when they're like 9 and 10, they play for our youth organization, and when they won it at 12, they're at practice the next day, like they were all hungry, and all of them are doing marvelous things. Hugh Noble, he actually works with us with Black Baseball. I mean, he just graduated from Arkansas Pine Bluff. Trey Hondres, he's doing wonderful things. He's got out of college. Cam Buford, he's tearing it up in independent ball. Ed Howard still with the Cubs organization. Josh Houston is coaching at home with Baltimore baseball now. Pierce Jones, I think he just got out of professional baseball with the Padres. Butler, DJ Butler just finished up at UIC baseball, so he's doing wonderful things. He was playing independent. And for the listeners, excuse me if I missed a couple people. Marquise Jackson, he just finished at Central Michigan. He's doing something around youth baseball. So all those guys not only were superb talents at a youth age, but they were even better human beings, and that's why they're being
awesome,
great
man.
to society right now.
And that's what really, I think a lot of people lose sight what baseball and the lessons in life that it teaches you, because like you said, 99% of us are not going to get an opportunity to play, Major League Baseball and make a living at it, but there's so many other avenues, especially nowadays, for people to be involved in baseball and actually help the youth, not just about, winning championships, but also about winning life. And that's kind of where I, that's why Kids on First and things like that are in your company. It's not about just, how do we produce winning teams? How do we produce winning people?
No doubt. You hit it right on the head, Coach Chris.
Let's go a little bit into Black Baseball Media now. When did you get that started, and give us some background on the mission?
So we started Black Baseball Media, like I said. I came home coaching baseball, high school baseball, and started with the youth travel. And so there was a little bit dire need for visibility within the African-American baseball community, right? But we saw that Black kids were playing baseball, right? We're just not being visible. It's not being seen as much as basketball and football, but we are playing, right? The numbers are always, we know, we say they're down because of social economics. And, we want to take a stance and we didn't want to harp on that, right? We want to harp on the wonderful things that's happening in baseball and magnify it and bring it to another level. We saw the social media. I'm literally a millennial, so I'm right before social media boom. But, I was a mid 20s and I saw that, okay, social media is a thing for these kids. And that's where we all go to get information from. So why not highlight the wonderful things that's going on in the community around baseball? So we centered this organization around three pillars. We want to educate the parents, we want to provide resources for the players, and we want to uplift programs. And the biggest thing is uplifting programs because the more programs like Kids on First, around the country that we have, the better black baseball can be. And a lot of times, I talk about this a lot, and I mentioned this, Sherry, in urban baseball spaces in most sports, it's so gatekeep. And what I mean by gatekeep is it's like, hey, I want my program to outshine everybody else's. If you look at corporate America, that's not how it goes. Competition drives sales. Sales drives, I'm sorry, the economy. The economy means everybody has success. You go outside, you look at there's a McDonald's, a Burger King, a Wendy's, a Taco Bell, a KFC, all within a mile radius. That's not by design. So we looked at that and say, hey, it's everyone needs to succeed, and we want to create a platform to magnify and help uplift everyone who's doing the wonderful work, right? Because this is a thankless job to help kids that don't want to be helped sometimes, right? And then to deal with the parents fussing at you. So you know, and we saw that, and we started in Chicago, and we saw that Chicago high school baseball. It was such like that backyard ish talking, and the neighborhoods getting together. The old 70-year-old talking to the 69-year-old about I struck you out when I played for Lane Tech. So we want to bring that back. We love travel baseball, right? We love it, but we understand and know how important high school baseball is for the community, and that's when we created the High School Classic Series. So that's a marquee event to make it to make something that people can touch, feel, and see a part of our company. And now, by the grace of God and our wonderful team, I know I'm on here talking and running my mouth, but we have 25 hard-working people that run this machine. Like it's not me. I'm just the one who gets the blame when stuff goes wrong, right? But we got some wonderful volunteers and people who literally sacrifice everything to make sure this engine goes. So that's how we got started. We saw that there was a need for visibility within the African American community. We hear all the time. You guys know all the organizations who come drop gloves off. They come do a camp and they're gone, right? We get that, but now we want to make sure that it's a consistent highlight of what's going on and the positive things and the work needed to be done within our African American baseball space.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Hey man, that's really big, Coach. E. When we take a look at leadership, and guidance, I mean that's really needed because at the end of the day, there was really no guidance or leadership in that space, um, from what I can remember. I mean, if it was leadership or guidance, it was mainly guys like Ozzie Smith. You had guys like Ken Griffey Jr. You had guys like Harold my man Harold from Seattle. I mean, these
Yeah.
guys were really pillars as far as having a voice in the African American space in reference to baseball. So now that we see the grassroots of it and you trailblazing this thing, man, that is really awesome. So how would you say that other organizations that are out there and from what you've seen, how are they also involved in the whole movement as well?
So you got some wonderful organization, Kids on First. You guys, I got to give a big shout out because Virginia. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know too much about black baseball in Virginia. I'm not taking a shot. I knew the Upton brothers, and that was it, right? Then I started really looking at. I'm like, whoa, holy crap! I need to shut up some. Kids, they got some really good talent coming from the Richmond area, right? Hold on, huh? Okay, I'm gonna call. I'll be right back. Sorry, that's baby girl. She's a future softball player. She's running around. And then, you got our boys out of Atlanta, minority baseball prospects, mentoring valuable prospects out of Atlanta. That's a hotbed, the Southeast. I mean, you guys are in that Southeast. We got Flashline out of Florida. We got FCF out of Detroit. We got Loyal to Your Soul out of the Bay Area. Jock Jones organization, All Hands on Deck. Five Tool in San Diego. Texas has oh, they're gonna kill me down there. The right way in Alabama and Texas, they just went and expanded. So I believe everyone has a space that they're kind of owning. Black baseball mixtape too. I'm sorry, they're in their backyard, right? They highlight a lot of the pros. Shout out to Cheats. Um, I think organizations are all owning their lane, right? And then us working in a good, healthy space and make sure that everyone supports each other. I'm gonna be honest, I know we're on a podcast and I like to tell the truth. We have to get better at supporting one another, right? When I hear, you know, kids on first, Loyal to Soul is having an event, it needs to be blasting on everybody's social media, on the stories at least, right? We know the grid gets all fuzzy on Instagram, but we got to do a deeper dive and get a little bit better with that. Shout out to the Players Alliance also, right? Um, and I know that we, no matter whose event, who's doing what, we gotta have it visible on everyone's page, social media, talks about emails, because we can't sustain without the next man or woman doing this work. It just won't work. You can't be in Antarctica with one glacier, right? You gotta be a rainforest with multiple tropical
Yeah,
trees.
no doubt. And
Absolutely.
that's
Thank you for
that's
that.
one of the things I think baseball in general has been. It's been hard for organizations because, as you mentioned earlier, everybody owns their little piece, and then everybody's of course protective of that piece, and it just seems like it's hard to get widespread word out about not just black baseball, but any type of event. And until people realize that baseball is for everyone, and we're trying to get it across, like you said, get promotion is going to help every single player in the country, not just I think too many people just look at how's it going to help my players and not the greater good.
And absolutely, and I'm gonna everything you said. I'm gonna add on. We've been blessed and fortunate. We have we have five, no, six Major League Baseball teams that we have partnerships with our events or camps in the cities. And the number one reason why they say yes is because we're not gatekeeping and we're not saying this is us and our kids. We say this is the baseball social economy of kids, right? This is the ecosystem, to break it down in layman's terms. This is the ecosystem because our kids, I want them to turn into freaking Major League Baseball ticket holders because they can afford to pay the tickets because they have some astronomical job, you know, and the Major League teams, they understand. I'm giving out who's ever listened to podcasts. When you are talking to Major League Baseball teams, they know you're coming in there going to ask for something, right? So they're already with their guards up. But our approach is we say, hey, how can we be of service, and what do you guys, where are you guys struggling? If you're struggling with getting in contact with the inner city, every Major League Baseball team, they want ticket sales. So hey, help us get this kid to and through college so he can turn into a lifetime ticket holder of your organization. Oh, okay, let's play ball. And everything is not about a dollar sign. I know I'm kind of going off, but I know you guys have a lot of people in Virginia and, those rural areas that are looking for funding, right? So a lot of times with the teams, they're not directly going to cut your check right away. You have to prove and do the work. And then now, after you develop the relationship, it becomes a partnership. And now they feel trusted in you to invest in the organization.
Yeah, no, and
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge, man. When you look at that trust and that partnership, and the kids that are involved. That gives them an entire sense of well-being, a sense of belonging. We talk about Abraham's, we talk about hierarchy, Maslow's needs, right? There's a Maslow of needs when it comes to baseball too. You understand what I'm saying? So,
Yep.
so you have to have that sense of security. These kids need a sense of belonging. They need to understand where they maximize their potential, and these organizations are able to actually, particularly like Kids on First and Black Baseball Media is able to expose that and call that out, which I love, man. I think our listeners really need to understand that.
Yeah, and one of the things I
Absolutely.
think people too, like you said, it's not just about the money sign. Major League Baseball, of course, it's a business, it's a multi-billion-dollar business, so they are looking to see how they can increase their revenue, what benefit that they have, but they also do have a responsibility to help kids and to make sure kids stay involved in the game, because if they don't, 10 years from now, those kids, if they don't have a true interest in baseball, they're going to lose fans, and that's for them. That's the important piece for them. I know everybody talks about, they want to be in and of the community, and that's great. I kind of feel that's more like our job, and trying to convince Major League Baseball teams and other organizations like them that they really do need to invest in inner city baseball, and they do. I mean, RBI programs and helping sponsor different programs, but I think it's really come to the forefront the last couple of years now. I know Sherry's on one of the diversity committees with the American Baseball Coach Association, and years ago when I'm a 30-something year member, and that we didn't have that. There was no such thing as a diversity committee. So it's being recognized, and I think which is great, but there's still a lot of work to be done.
Oh yeah, and I share this with Sherry a lot of the times. They're only gonna do as much as we present to them, and what's been presented to them is us holding our hands out in this fake demand of you need to invest because we're doing the heartfelt mission. No, you hit it on the head, Chris. We gotta make this make sense for them because at the end of the day, it's their money, and we have to show them that hey, we can go out and get small businesses to raise revenue and generate funds. So when you give us money, we're going to be able to sustain. Because if you pull out a year, something goes wrong or something happens, we'll still be operating because we have the business acumen to land sponsorship. We have unique merchandise, apparel to sell to fan base, right? So those are the things to where now they look at us as investments. I tell all of my close friends in baseball, we can't keep being in the donation tab of organizations. We have to be on the other side of the investment and line items. Every year, everybody knows every company has to spend X amount of dollar on marketing, um, testing products, staff, but you name it. So donation is always the last thumbnail to say, all right, what we're going to do with this, and they're not going to help you through your journey if you are a line item on the market. Think about this. Let me ask y'all a question. The New York Yankees have their own TV network, right? So whoever pays for sponsorship and TV ads, I'm pretty sure they're working very hard behind the scenes so they get an ROI so their money can keep going. So if I put $1 million in, I need to see at least 3 million in sales within a certain time period from this one ad, right? Or whatever the formula and the KPIs are, right? So I'm going to help you get to the KPIs because I need you to keep investing in this organization. So we have to have that mindset, especially now with the political climate and everything, and the economy is all over the place. Everybody's watching their dollars. So we got to make sure, even with our community, grassroots level organizations of non-for-profit and doing stuff for free for kids, we got to make it make financial sense for any business that's giving.
Yeah, I look at that. I look at that on a corporate level as well, and say, we scrutinize each other based on delivery and organization. Because at the end of the day, you could have an executive summary, you could have all that stuff that's needed in a business plan and so on and so forth. But how are you actually running it? How are you
There you
actually
go.
putting the thoughts and the execution of it together? And does it look professional and not the words that we use, ghetto? You understand what
Yeah,
I'm
there you go.
saying? So, I mean, let's be real. We need to call that out and make sure that the
Yep.
organizations are being run at a all professional on a professional level.
No, and when you say professional, I'm glad you brought that up. Um, and for the listeners, professional doesn't mean you have to be squeaky clean. Hey, how you doing?
Right.
You be yourself, but what he's speaking on is how you execution. What is your workflow? What does communication look like? What does delegation of tasks look like? Do you have a timeline? Did you do the SWOT analysis? So all these things are something that every organization should have in place. Do you have a board in place? How do you guys make decisions? If you get sick, does this event still happen? How do we know it's still going to happen? How do you know it's success? What what instruments do you collect data with? So all those things, very small things that you can do. I mean, AI is out. You can literally AI all of this and put it to work for your organization and teach. I hear this so many times with organizations. They say, man, we can't find coaches. With all this technology, you need somebody. Now, I'm not talking about the kid that's about to get drafted, right? I'm talking about we're keeping kids off the street to play baseball. That
Development,
top
development,
level
development kids. Yeah.
development age. Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you. I was at a loss of words a little bit, but we can have dads and moms coaching third and first base with us training them on how to coach the flow of the game. And with so much research out there, like we need the dads, and I'm gonna lean on the dads. I get so sick of seeing so many dads in the stands just sitting there like, yeah, I'm gonna let my son go. No, dog. I ain't saying you gotta be all down his throat, but at least pick up some sunflower seeds, rake the field, help out, dog. If it's 13 boys on the field, even if there's only two or three dads, we need y'all to step up. Because these mamas, they breaking their backs getting the boys there. So we got to get the fathers more involved.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
So, let's talk a little about, because you see a lot of the younger players now coming up through your programs.
Yeah.
What's one of the things that you think is lacking in skill level when the kids get to be 10, 11, 12? That's a glaring thing that you think we really need to spend some more time on.
Baseball instincts. Baseball instincts. With so many, gosh darn it, I'm not going to curse, gosh darn it, drills and so much launch angle robotic. I want to be perfect. Baseball ain't a perfect game. You got to be perfect in your process, right? And with them, I don't know what this new like swing and hold your finish and I mean not hold your finish, not even finish the swing. You just like a sword, right? And the run and pull downs. I get all of that, right? But we're so data heavy and hey coach, my exit velo is 98. Yeah, but it's a 2-0 count and you got to run on first base and he's setting up on the outside corner. Let this guy steal this base, man. Baseball instincts. It's not even knowledge anymore, right? Because a lot of times they're going to be able to find the information with AI or YouTube, right? It's just the instincts and having that knack of the game. And I believe our kids are not watching whole baseball games. They go see Aaron Judge hit a home run, but didn't watch how he positioned himself in right field from pitch to pitch. So that's something that I myself have to get a little better at because I promote social media. But we have to articulate, even my kids in the program, and I'm reminding myself, we got to get back to old school. Like, hey, all the kids, we meeting up at Coach Crib, and we're going to watch 7 innings of baseball on TV. Then we're going to go out and go physically watch 7 innings. And you guys had coaches that just talked your ears off about, look how he's setting up, watch his feet. He just took that run. I would have did this. What you think? We got to get back to that to develop natural instincts on the field, in just my opinion. I think the kids are fundamentally, it's like 5-year-olds who know how to field funnel, bat path. They're like, it's like, how do you learn this at 5, right? But then when they get 10, to your point, they get in the game and ball hitting the gap, the center fielder catches the ball and he's still looking at the coach for a sign. dog, you either gonna tag up or you gonna stay. Don't you? So those are the little things that I get really. That's why I cock my hat. I get very irked about because we're not watching enough baseball at home and in person.
Yeah. Yep, that's true. It's funny you say that because I was just having a conversation with my dad last week, and we were visiting him down in Florida, and we were talking about, we were growing up. We played if we didn't have game, but then we were out in the street playing stickball, and if we weren't playing stickball, then we were out in the driveway with a lawn chair playing wiffle ball. And the lawn chair was the strike zone. And then if we weren't doing that, we were watching This Week in Baseball, given all the highlights, or WPIX with the Yankees. And me and my dad would just sit there and watch a full game. Could be 3 hours. And then I look back at that, I'm saying, wow, I watched a game for, I sat for 3 hours. But that's what I think. You're 100% right. I coach a bunch of 13-year-olds
Okay.
now, and I ask them the last full game they watched. Not one person raised their hand. Not one person. And again, it's not their fault, but there's so much going on, like you said, with social media, and everybody's on their phones. They're spending time. They're playing games on, video games. They're playing. They're going to their practices for their organizations, but okay, like you said, okay, we're teaching them how to hit and
Right.
your exit velo this and your launch out, but are they outside playing by themselves without coaches? Are they doing all those little things? Are they watching games on TV? They watch ESPN, they watch the highlights, but they're not watching the game.
Absolutely. They need good point on that, Chris. I think with my players too, I coach also 13U, Coach E, and I'm gonna tell you,
Do you guys play each other?
we
I
played
don't
one of
want
his
to. I don't want
teams.
to embarrass Coach Rock's team, so we don't. So we don't play each other. No, kidding.
Hey, you see,
We don't. We haven't.
you,
We
you,
haven't
you,
yet.
you see my promotion side start coming out. I'm like, oh, hold on, we got something here.
Well, one of the things that I point out as far as with my guys is that I don't mind MLB the show, right? Because when you are actually playing that game, you're actually increasing your IQ of the game. It's not just, oh, I'm going up here to hit. You got to know what pitch to read. You got to know where is that pitch being located on a 1-2 count, on an 0-2 count, or whatever have you. So I'm not completely against the actual gaming of it. I'm just against the fact that you're not applying it to the actual field itself, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. And one of the great things I think, I had a coach a long time ago in youth baseball, and he used to have us scrimmage without coaches on the base paths, and his thing was, you need to learn when you hit a ball, you know, in front of you, you need to make that decision whether to go or not. You don't need a guy at third base telling you to go. But kids, as soon as they hit that bag, they're looking. Even if the ball's hit to left field and they're running to first base, they're looking to decide, to have a coach make a decision rather than the player make a decision, or a dirt ball read. They're hesitant, and the reason that they're hesitant, because nobody's let them just go. Green light. You have to be able to read that before the ball gets to the plate, if you're going to go or not. Read the catcher if his knees are starting to shift downward, his glove angle is changing to a blocking position. Guys don't do that anymore. They're waiting for the coach to let them know to go. And yeah, 100%. That's one of the biggest things. We were talking with Darren Everson a couple of weeks ago, and one of the things that we said kind of the same thing. And he coaches youth, but he also was the AAA hitting coach for the Royals. And that's one of the big things too, is just having instincts. And it's lost because I think, like you said, there's so much poured into the training, there's not, hey, these kids aren't watching games, they're not playing by themselves, and the coaches are kind of controlling every little movement that they make. So if we talk about the training now with your programs and with Major League Baseball, and what do you see in the future, the next year for you guys, in terms of reaching out to other programming and stuff you have on the horizon?
Oh, so within the next year, we'll expand to two other markets. So right now we're currently in Chicago, San Diego, Birmingham, and DMV, which is our newest market for events. So we can forecast. We're looking at the Texas market, and then we're also looking at the Florida market for some events. We've been in communication down there. And as far as we want to scale our training program, right now we do want to say 6 camps a year, so we're going to try to increase that to 12, right? So we're probably in a good situation revenue wise to do that, and then we'll have each event that we do. So if you have a high school classic that we put on, you have a community camp involved with it, and then we'll be able to do monthly camps in that city, teaming up with organizations that's already established also. So it's not us coming in, doing our thing, leaving. It's like, hey, where's the community? We're not saying you need help, but let us give you guys some of our horsepower so everyone can stay. Like, we got a lot of resources that we can provide and connections to make.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I think that's one of the things too, like you said, getting the word out
Hmm.
on those programs, way in advance is definitely the way to go, because people need to know that these programs exist. And I know, like for us, even down here in Richmond, the inner city school baseball program, is not in good shape. Would you agree, Coach Rock?
Oh, absolutely would agree.
So, like, doing things like that in the inner city, and just getting out there to let players and coaches know that these programs are available. They're here, and getting support not just from the players, but getting support from the community is probably one of the biggest hurdles that all of our programs have to jump through.
Yep, yep. And like I said, you guys are doing God's work. We're here to support it. Um, I know we're facing similar things in Chicago. I mean, it's more people in Chicago, so it's not. But I gotta like the south side of Chicago. I'm pretty sure you guys heard it. You hear the violence and stuff. Public schools. We had a bunch of like legends retire over the last 10 years out of those schools, and the programs just disappear, right? And after this year, within the city of Chicago on the south side, competitively, it'll be maybe two teams after this year, right? So we're in the same state of like, okay, hold on. Now the suburban area, they'll be fine, right? They'll be fine. They're more affluent, but that inner city Chicago, like Chicago, we got a little bit of work to do. I think we'll dip in the next couple in the next couple years, but we'll tick back up because we have a vast our 9, 10, 11, and 12-year olds. It's like 300 black ball players running around. So hopefully those kids can stay in city schools, which we kind of forecast, and we'll be right back up.
Yeah, that's good to hear. So in your conference when you were in college too, um, the historically black baseball conference, what what did you see when you were playing, trend wise with the players? Did you feel that the talent level was being attracted to those schools, and um, playing against other D1 programs. Where did you feel you guys were at?
So it's funny, right? Me and my old teammate talked about this a minute ago. Hold on a minute. Sorry, that's the star of the house, right? But no, played in the SWAC, and we had a saying: we can hit with every D1 program in the country. We don't have the arms. So we played. I'll give you an example. In 2009, we came out. We doubleheader against Wichita State. They won the first game by 8 runs. Second game, we won. Third game, we lost by 1 run. When they went to the bullpen, 94, 93, lefty run, closer 97. We go to the bullpen, 82, on the black, and praying this ball doesn't get hit to the next galaxy, right? So, back then, we had some really good guys get drafted. I mean, a little bit before me. You guys know Ricky Weeks, right? He's all world in college baseball. So there's some really really good talent. HBCU, SWAC, MEAC. Um, the arm, the pitching is the fast difference where you say, okay, it's a little bit of levels to this. If we had the arms, we'll compete with anybody in the country. But the arms, man, you can't. It's like an offensive lineman in football, like Michigan and Ohio State. Every down they rolling out 6'5", 390. What you gonna do with that, man? And when you get to in the trenches, that pitching, man. We hit against those guys, but you guys know, man. You playing 9 innings of baseball. That's 6 innings. It's 95 degrees, and you're dwelling, and you're constantly seeing that like they gonna have an edge.
I mean, we see that at 13U now. I mean, we hit the baseball all day long. I mean, we could average 480 as a team, but if you don't have pitching, it's a wrap. I mean, it's over with. I mean, at the end of the day, so I get it. I get it. What do you say? What do you say to those as far as like learning the proper mechanics, or learning how to throw? Because a lot of these kids, a lot of these guys that don't have the arm strength or the velocity, just don't know the mechanics of knowing how to
I
pitch.
agree, and that's man. You touched on it. We pitching mechanics is a lost art, and it's just a lost art, man. I have no answer for that, right? And I'm not a big pitching guy. Like I'm guilty of, hey man, pick your leg up, throw the ball over the top, and just let it go over the plate, right? And I know parents are like, yeah, why would he said like, I have not. Even when I go learn, I've been blessed to have great pitching coaches sitting next to me where I don't have to learn this stuff. They got it, right? And I know it's ignorant to say, but you know, we could feel the difference when our great pitching guy either retires or finds another job. You're like, oh, well, let's just pray this ball don't get hit to the galaxy.
Yeah, and part of that too is like you said earlier, it's having the kids being out playing catch, playing catch more, focus more. You see at a lot of games, and even when I was recruiting, I'd go out and I'd get there an hour and a half early, and I'd watch the guys throw, and the throwing is just not emphasized. Guys are talking, they're throwing the ball back and forth. I'd go watch a high school team, and the shortstop mixes in a curveball to his partner every now and then, or they're throwing the ball, overhead, and it's like not a big deal. Nobody's saying anything, and the focus level on their catch play, their throwing catch play, is just not there. So then when you get into a game and the guy's pitching or whatever, and then you wonder why he's walking a small village. Well, there you go, right there. If they're not locked in on their warm ups, and they're not locked in doing that stuff, what what's going to happen? Even in Major League Baseball, 75% of the errors on the infield, it's throwing errors.
Yes.
It's not that they can't catch. It's the throwing errors.
Good point.
Great point, Coach Chris. I love it. I love it.
Hey, we could talk baseball all day about this stuff, but we're coming up on our time here.
Okay.
But I want to thank you, Coach E, for some really insightful nuggets that you shared with our group today, and I hope people really listen and really get to digest this information, because it's a lot of good stuff. And again, our goal, just like you and everybody, is we just want to help players have the opportunity to enjoy the game and hopefully learn some life lessons out of it. And maybe after high school, they have opportunities to play in college, which would be great. But if they don't, at least they're taking something, and then they can give back, from all the stuff that they've learned over the years. So really appreciate your time today.
No, thank you guys so much for having me, man. Awesome platform. Keep pushing. Them babies in Virginia need y'all. Whatever we can do up here. I know we're in Chicago, but the private jet is on the way. We still about $24 million and $99 short of $25 million, but it's on the way. It's on the way. We're gonna be there before y'all know it. We'll be in DC, April 18th. So if you guys have a chance, come on down. No, we're gonna try to open that thing up. I know it says Baltimore versus DC, DMV type, and we don't have any real Virginia teams. So next year, let's look to open that up. And then also what you guys got going on, I know can't speak on the event in 27, but y'all 26 events, we're gonna magnify, highlight, try to send Sam down there and myself, and we're gonna really get it going.
Cool.
Awesome. Thank you, man. It was an honor, man. We're gonna go ahead and form like Voltron. We'll make it happen.
Blessings.
Thanks everybody for tuning in today to All Star Insights. Again, sponsored by Kids on First Foundation and Tuckahoe Sports.
All right,
Thank you guys. Have a good one.
All right, guys. All right. All right, you too.